welcome along to Peter's Reviews. You catch me today with my Windgoo B3 on the bike stand, so that means we're going to be doing a little bit of work. If you see my last video, which was the unboxing and first impressions video of this bike, you will see that I mentioned something about an accessory kit. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up here, you can go and have a look at it first. But we're moving on from unboxing this little scooter and look at talking about if you wanted to convert it into a full e-bike. And the Windgoo started to do a new accessory kit that allows you to do this. The accessory kit comes with the pedals, the crankshafts, the chain, all the gearing you're going to need to make this a scooter into an e-bike. Okay, that's us emptied the accessory box. Let's take a look at what we get inside. So we've got our chain sprocket here, we've got our a user manual, we've also got our chain here, set of pedals, pedal arms, and our crank set here, and some nuts and bolts that we're going to need along the way. Okay, to begin, we're going to remove the foot pegs that it came on the scooter. So to remove them, it's just spin, spin, spin. They will take a little bit of time to come off. They have got quite a long thread on them, either side. All you want to do is remove that from both sides. Once removed, just put them to one side, they will no longer be needed. Next up, we're going to remove this bolt that goes through the centre here. A good adjustable spanner, get it on the nuts and loosen off. I've already pre-loosened these, I'll tell you why in a second, but they can be quite tight. So just to preempt that, so just undo the one nut at the front here, and then you can remove this. And again, this is a piece that will no longer be needed, so that can be put to one side as well. Okay, moving on from there, we need to remove these outer, they look like washers, but they actually are, they do have both sides, they have threads inside there. So you need a good size adjuster, and when you get your adjuster on there is two flat edges here and here. When you get your adjuster on, it will take a bit of power to get that off. I've taken the time to loosen it off already. So basically, once you get it off on one side, that will allow you to unscrew one side, and then you'll have to repeat the same process on the other side. But like I say, they will be quite tight. You just got to be quite patient in getting them off. As you can see, they come off, they are fully threaded, and they come off quite easily once you get that first little bit of tightness taken off. Just a little point to be aware of, the opposite side one, which will be your right side foot pedal, it's an opposite thread. So when you're tightening, you're actually loosening. Yeah, so when you start to get your wrench on there, make sure you remember the right side, you do it the opposite way. You would be tightening to loosen. One to remember, or you could drive yourself daft all day. Okay, let's insert this from the right hand pedal side. Insert it straight through. You get the tool on the end here, as you can see. Just swap hands here. And you will see, once you have the tool in place, you then get your spanner on the end here and start tightening. So that's what I'll do next. As you can see, that's just about tight now. Just make sure it's really solid in there, and then remove the tool and move to do the rear side. I'll do that now. Okay, that's at the rear side. You can see we've got this smaller threaded unit to attach to this side. So start to thread with your fingers to start with, and then you can get, as it starts to get tighter, you can then drop the tool onto it again and get your spanner on there and tighten it up. And the same as the front side, just make sure you lock that nice and tight on that thread, and that's not going anywhere. Okay, the next part of this little operation is to put the pedal arm on with the chain ring on the front side here, and then the normal arm on the rear side. So we'll start at this front side. We're supplied with a couple of screws as well. So what we've got to do is just check after fitting the lower unit here, it spins nice and free, which it does, and it's all nice and tight. So we're just going to line up the square peg with the square part of the pedal here and push it on. And it might need a little bit of persuasion. I always use a rubber mallet rather than a metal one, try not to mark. Did need quite a bit of persuasion, that, so be aware of that. It does need to be all the way home so you can see the front end lining up at the front here. Okay, now that's in, we'll take our screw and we'll get our Allen key and we'll start threading that up, putting the whole thing into place. Just keep spinning that until it's all the way home. And you'll feel it as it gets just to its home point there. And then just a couple of little tightens on there. Okay, so that's both pedal arms on now. We can now start to fit the pedals. You can see they're marked left and right. This is the right side one as you sit on the bike facing the front. So if I start tightening it on the thread here, just turning that all the way until the pedal's on fully. Nice and tight. And then I'll drop in the other side and do the exact same with our left hand pedal. Just one thing to bear in mind, when you're doing the left hand one, it's at the opposite thread. So it's as if you're loosening it to tighten it. You'll find that, and it should, if you're doing it right, the first few threads, it should freely roll on there, and then you can get your spanner and just tighten the last few threads up. Next up, we're going to have to take the whole back wheel off with the two nuts at the other side. We're going to take the brake caliper off and the little kickstand off. So I'll whip them off now so that we can drop the wheel and put the sprocket, gearing and the chain on. Okay, to remove the rear wheel, I undone the nuts, removed the brake caliper and removed the kickstand. And now I've got the wheel here. And I have the sprocket that just feeds on the thread at the back here. Just make sure that goes on really tight. There is some locking points where you can get your wrench on there and give that a good tighten. So I'll make sure I give that a good tighten. And then I'm going to, in reverse order, put the wheel back on, the kickstand and the brake caliper all back in place. So I'll let you see it once we've got to that point. And then the last thing we'll do is to fit our chain. So let's carry on. Okay, that's me got the wheel back on now with the sprocket on this end here, and we've got our pedal ends on here. So what we need to go between the A and B is a nice new chain. Now you can see the chain comes open with the link ready to crimp once you've got it in place. You will need a little tool that you pass the link through, and then you tighten it up and it pushes the final pin through once lined up. Once you've got your chain on, you will then come back to your two wheel nuts at the rear, just loosen them off, pull them back ever so slightly, getting the right amount of tension on the chain there, make sure the rear wheel is straight, and then from that just tighten up the two rear bolts, and then pedal it on the stand here and make sure everything runs okay. Okay, that's me got the chain in place. I just need to use the tool now to crimp the pin through and set the chain in place. So let's do that now. Okay, Wendigooers, that's me got the chain and the sprocket back on, and just give it a spin for you there now. You see it spins quite freely. A couple of little adjustments I might do on the brake after I take it for a proper ride out, just make sure it's okay. But yeah, the chain went together okay. The sprocket went on nice and tight. The pedals feel great, and you know, a conversion from a little scooter to an e-bike in no time. Okay everyone, my B3 scooter is now converted using the conversion kit to a B3 e-bike. So let's get rid of that. So what do you think? I think it looks great. The key thing will be the road test. That's what you'll see me do next. But for now, my thoughts and impressions briefly. It can be a little bit of a fiddle of a kit to fit, but you get there and you get it on. You just need a little bit of ability and have the right tools to do it. So if you've got some tools, you've got some confidence in working on e-bikes and general normal bikes, this will be very easy for you. Go ahead and jump in, and you can suddenly have something that was a handy little scooter to be a super handy little e-bike. Just a little reminder, if you're in the market of getting yourself a little B3 e-scooter and then buy the conversion kit. The conversion kit's about £60, so it's not much more to add to the cost of the bike. And if you go into the Windgoo e-bike owners group, which is on Facebook, if you join that group, you'll see in there that I've got a voucher in there. So if you put in PETER30, that will get you £30 off this bike. And the new Windgoo owners group in Facebook is a great community for potential owners and existing owners. Come over and have a chat, share pictures, share experiences with those bikes, any modifications you might have done, anything you might have changed, you know, or upgraded, because there's a few people made some changes to some of the Windgoo bikes. So it's definitely worth coming over to take a look at our group. Okay, I'll leave a link in the description for the Windgoo e-bike owners group. I'll leave a link for the voucher code if you're thinking about buying one of these that you can use on the Windgoo official site to buy one of these B3 e-scooters, and maybe even the conversion kit and change it into a little e-bike. Last thing for me to do is say thank you for all watching. Look out for my next video, which will be a ride out on this little thing, testing out the conversion kit and letting you see how the bike performs. Okay, well again, thank you for taking the time today, and I look forward to catching you all on my next video. Bye for now.